the state that the people were in would make it difficult to identify them. So this whole story starts with me and Casey doing yet another dark web mystery box. This is one that we received from a new sender from a new source. So we didn't really know what to expect or how extreme its contents would be. So we decided just to kind of go for it. We wore the proper protective equipment and we just dove in. So we found a lot of really creepy items inside the mystery box. There was some items that were kind of putting us in the direction of like a little girl being involved or something like that. So there was a backpack, there was a hat, there was a doll that had like tape over its mouth. There was like dirt inside of the box. And then ultimately we found a set of coordinates that when we looked them up, it led to what appeared to be a trailer in Mississippi. So we decided to kind of go down that road and map it out and see if we wanted to consider visiting the site. So the whole time we're kind of wrapping up this box and we're starting to then talk about traveling to the coordinates. After kind of reviewing its location, I know that I'm familiar with the area. We've been to the south a lot on investigations, so it wasn't like totally uncharted territory for me. Obviously, I've never been to that exact location, but people that have spent time in the deep south and like these backwood areas in the south, you'll find that there's almost like a level of lawlessness out there where people like aren't familiar or using the internet, and people that don't really know how normal society functions. There's no police anywhere near where we're going, and it's kind of scary because we really don't know what we're getting into. We don't know if this is a trap. We don't know who actually created this box, what the coordinates are from. Like, we just don't know what we're getting into, and we have that experience to know that it's definitely a sketchy situation to go poking around in the deep south. And that's not even to mention the other things that could occur, like the weather events, the wildlife. We've ran into water moccasins, different poisonous snakes and creatures out there. We just don't know what we're getting into. The supernatural, the paranormal, like, I don't know anything about this location. So just thinking about traveling there and just trying to figure it out was really unnerving. So me and Casey slept on the idea, and we kind of came together, got on a FaceTime, and discussed the possibility of actually going. And to be honest with you, I didn't think we would. I didn't think we were going to end up deciding to go there just because of the risk involved. But at the end of the day, we've got a job to do. We're here to create content. We're here to explore and kind of figure out these mysterious circumstances that this box came to us under. So we decided to go. And in that conversation, we just talked about how sketchy it was, the risk involved, like a game plan, basically. We needed a game plan just in case something did go wrong. We needed a way to protect ourselves. We needed a way to get out of there. So we ultimately did decide to go. We booked flights that night, and we coordinated and linked up in Mississippi and stayed in a hotel locally just to game plan even further and make sure we were super prepared. And from there, we went on down to the location. Pulling up on the scene, I would say the main emotion I had was anxiety. I was kind of fearful in what we would discover. Like, is there going to be a person there? Is there going to be an entity there? Is there going to be some sort of paranormal activity, or is there going to be some sort of criminal activity? And when I saw the trailer and the condition it was in, and started to realize that like somebody's belongings were in there, and that the trailer was at some point occupied, I don't know if it still is. I don't know what's going on there. I just felt pretty much afraid of what we were going to discover. And as we made our way up to the trailer, we were discovering things in the dirt. We were discovering bones. When I got to the back room of the trailer, I found a dress. It was on a hanger, a little girl's dress. It was stuffed into a hole in the ground. And it just added another layer of creepiness, of darkness to the situation. I didn't really know what we were into at that point. It almost felt like a criminal investigation or a crime scene investigation. Stuff that we don't really usually do, but we were just trying to do our job, collect whatever evidence we could, and just try to get to the bottom of whatever was going on inside that trailer. Obviously, having a kid involved in the situation, or kids involved in the situation, especially as a dad, it's makes it that much more nefarious, makes it that much more evil. And it's something that we've never really dealt with in the past. So I think we were kind of figuring it out as we went and trying to navigate it in the best way possible just to get to the bottom of it. I'm not law enforcement, not a detective. I'm not trained in forensics or crime scene investigation. So this was a little bit outside of our realm. We're paranormal investigators, but it's something that kind of fell into our lap and something that we felt obligated to follow through on. So that's what we were doing there. We weren't doing a paranormal investigation. We were open to feeling anything or to digging a little deeper in that realm, but at the end of the day, we just wanted answers. What was going on with this box and what happened in that trailer? Going through the trailer, we didn't really know what to expect, but we didn't expect to find anything that would identify anybody. So there were multiple purses. There was even a wallet. We found a wallet with a player's card and like food stamps in it and stuff. And when I read the name, I immediately was thinking like, who is this? Is this somebody's mom that was involved? Is this a victim? Is this somebody that lived here? Like, you just don't have any ideas. And again, you just kind of start spinning. You're in your own head and you start making stuff up. So it was pretty disturbing to find that, and it made me wonder what happened to that person. Like, are they okay? Did they make it? Are they with us now? In the form of an entity or in the ground underneath the trailer? You know, you just start thinking that way, and it makes it all that more disturbing. When we discovered the identifying items and started to kind of realize that somebody had like belongings, even keepsakes there, we were wondering like, will someone return? Does someone visit this spot regularly? We just didn't want any part of that. We didn't want to encounter something dangerous, and we decided to leave. But on the way out, we did remember to grab that VHS tape, just hoping that there would be more evidence on it. It was definitely in very rough shape. It didn't look like you could just pop it in a VHS player and get its contents. So I knew there'd be some work to be done. So I headed back to Vegas, and we decided to kind of pursue the investigation further, but remotely. I found a local shop in Las Vegas that specialized in media recovery and tape restoration. So this guy works on all kinds of tapes. I knew he was the guy for the job. I called him, and he gave me detailed information of how he would approach recovering the information that was on the tape. So I took the tape to him. He broke it down, cleaned everything, reassembled, rewound it, and put it into his VHS player. And he was actually able to extract a digital version of it as well. The guy was a true pro. So we wanted to figure out what was on the tape. He told me no problem whatsoever. I watched and actually recorded his entire process. And that's when we saw what was on the tape. So the mental state of the person that made this video, obviously, they're in a deeply dark place. And it's actually kind of interesting. The tape had recordings of like old Western shows and stuff on it, but there was the spot that we're going to show clips of here, that was actually recorded over. So it's like they just popped it in their camcorder and just recorded these few clips and put them together on there. And yeah, I don't know what to say about it. And then I started to wonder, was it intentional? The video was actually recorded over the old Western shows right in the middle of the tape. So I was wondering, like, did they want somebody to find it, or somebody in the past was supposed to find this tape and be just watching their favorite show and then just happen upon that footage? Like, were they playing mind games with the future watcher of this tape? It's just like very disturbing, but also kind of an interesting look into maybe what was going on inside their head. That's obviously just pure speculation. We're in investigation mode, so I'm trying to think of this from every angle to see if we can uncover some type of clue that's going to let us know the whole story and give us the big picture of what's going on. About the contents of the tape. They wanted to document their process, obviously. There's no other reason you would have the footage like from inside the vehicle, like transporting whatever it was they were transporting. They get to the location and they want to document themselves doing the horrible thing that they're doing. I don't know what they want to use that for satisfaction later, or I don't know. I really don't. Just to disturb whoever has to watch it in the future. It's impossible to say for sure, but they transport what we think was a body, and then they take said body, dig a little hole, and transfer them over. But before that, you can hear and like we've listened and watched this tape a lot, which is probably not great for our psyche, but we did it. You hear like a rustling noise, like almost they're still moving. I don't know. It didn't sound like wind or anything. It just sounded like somebody was still moving inside the bag. So when the person recording it hears that, they walk over with their spade, shovel, and it sounds like they hit them, basically. And then from that point forward in the video, there's no more movement. With complete disregard for human life, whoever's in this video, you can hear him very intentionally strike whatever's left in that bag. Whatever life remained in whoever or whatever was in that bag was just removed in an instant. And they didn't pause. You didn't see them think twice. It was just a easy decision for them. Just, I didn't finish the job. Now I will. Gross. The end of the video shows the person driving away from the scene, just, presumably wanting to document the entirety of their crime, of their activity. And that's where it ended. So we didn't have any more information. We collected what we did when we were there, and then we've reviewed the tape and still left with a lot of questions. So we decided ultimately that we needed to return to the trailer. We decided to return, and we found additional evidence, kind of more the same with the physical evidence of the shoes. We found a children's book. We found evidence that there were probably multiple children that were either living in or at some point were in this trailer. And we found another tape. And I know there was a lot of speculation and talk about what was on the tape, and we may have briefly addressed this in the past, but basically it wasn't appropriate for YouTube. We were already kind of pushing the limits, we felt, on the first tape we released. We did it anyways because we thought it was the right thing to do for the fans and the community and everyone that was wondering what happened there. So we did it. We took a risk, but this was way, way beyond that. So this video, there was never even a question we couldn't post it. There was no clips even we could post from it. The content was deeply disturbing, and this individual tortured people. He hurt a lot of people. Unfortunately for us, we had to be witness to that. I'm happy that you guys didn't have to. It's just nothing I would ever want anybody else to see. And it was something that obviously we had to hand it over to law enforcement. At that point, it's kind of out of our hands, right? Like we'd already been in touch with local law enforcement, and this kind of put it over the edge. And they asked us pretty specifically not to post anything related to it during that time. And, it's been a while now. We're safe to at least talk about it, but we'll never, ever release what was on that tape. It won't hit any website ever. So we're sorry we can't share it. In one way, it's unfortunate because I know you guys are curious about kind of what happened, but just know that this was an individual that was deeply disturbed, very evil. And we encounter a lot of evil and a lot of darkness in our investigations, but it's usually from the other side. It's usually paranormal, and it's hard for us to get a full picture of what happened with them. We communicate as best we can. We can feel their energy, feel their presence, but it's not like this, where we had to see that evil. This person could still be out roaming free in our country, and we have no way of knowing. So just the disturbing thought of what we saw happening to more people and not being able to do anything about it. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to deal with. And I think this is another example of like us kind of getting into the weeds of something that maybe we should have let go a little bit sooner, but that's how we are. We view this as our job. So we want to see things through. And sometimes when we see things through, it takes us to very, very dark places. And this is another example of that. The tapes are now in the possession of law enforcement, and that's where they'll stay. We never really saw anything super revealing as far as the identity of the person doing this stuff. I'll just say that what they were doing on the tapes and the crimes we witnessed in the recording would put somebody away for many lifetimes. They'd be in prison for many life sentences. And the only identifying things on the tapes were that of the victims. And even that was hit or miss, mostly miss, because of the state that the people were in. It's really disturbing to talk about. The state that the people were in would make it difficult to identify them. For now, we're leaving it alone. We haven't returned. We don't have any specific plans to return. I think me and Colton would be open to it. Obviously, there's nothing we can do about the tapes and their content, but we could check out the area, see if there's any updates, go look at it, and maybe make another video related to it. If that's something you guys would want to see, comment about it. Obviously, let us know what you're interested in. Because at the end of the day, we're curious too, and we want to sort of see it through. So we may want to go back there and see, like, is there crime tape? Has the evidence been removed? Have the police or anyone done anything about any of this? And it might be something worth following up. So like I said, if you guys want to see it, definitely comment, message us, let us know. So we appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us so far. I really hope you're enjoying the content. Me and Colton are out on our own now. So any support you can give us, we appreciate the hell out of it. Whether it's Patreon, you'll get updates. We're not going to overpromise. We're not going to overschedule ourselves and not deliver for you guys, but you will get more access to us and more frequent updates on there. Join the Discord. Obviously, turn on your notifications, like the video, share with your friends. Have a spooky night at your house. Watch the content. Honestly, that's more than enough to show us the support. If you want to wear some sweet swag, we've got a bunch of cool merch out, and that's just one more way to support us. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.